lot of people get stuck in this idea of, I got to serve everybody around me. I got to serve to, that's what I'm here to do. And it is. But from what fountain is that energy coming? And how are you protecting that energy? And allow my heart to just be in charge. Again, I'm not silencing the brain. It's important. I need it. But allowing my heart to be in charge. Well, then I open up a whole new level of possibility to reach my highest good, to perceive my highest good, just to be present to it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Eva Melton, and I'm here today with Jessica Carmon. Jessica, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm awesome. And so what I'm going to do, everybody that's tuned in, first, we're going to invite you to go ahead and share this wherever you're watching this. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Instagram, if you're on Facebook, or if you're even on the podcast, take a moment and share this conversation with a friend. It's going to be a blessing. And so Jessica is so multifaceted. So I want her to introduce herself, how she wants to show up today.
Thank you. Yes, I feel like many directions, but my name is Jessica Carmon, and I am honored to get to really do anything with you because I'm such a big fan. The way that we know each other, first and foremost, is through my energy work, and I offer energy work as well as herbal products and sustainable products and practices through my company, Resourced Apothecary. Again, I love to do so many different things and offer different services and products to the world. But kind of the underlying theme for me is just to grab onto whatever it is that brings out joy in myself so that I can embody it fully. And then to be able to share that with everyone I come into contact with so that they can embody their own joy fully.
Awesome. So you said a word that many may not know what it means. Apothecary. Is that correct?
Yes.
Explain to us what that word embodies and as it relates to you.
Okay. So typically you're going to hear the word apothecary in terms of a place that is creating some sort of concoction that will help you in your journey for wellness. So a lot of times you will hear it in connection with herbal businesses, so herbal apothecaries, and that's surely true for what I do. It does have a wider definition, but we'll dial in right there. And so what that means is that I actually create different products from scratch. So I have a medicine kitchen that I will work in to prepare flower essences, tinctures, oils and salves, things like that. It extends further, and I kind of tease the meaning out a little more in my business and just kind of saying, like, this is a space for creation and really centering that as far as letting what happens within the business and the relationships that people come in for really be fluid so that we are constantly creating and allowing for the making and then remaking that will serve the highest good in that moment.
So, yeah, I've heard, you can hear words. I've heard about flower essences, but you've been the first person that I've actually trusted. So if people that watch me know that I'm very careful about, who I see for energy work, who lays hands on me, who is making things that I put on my body, things that I digest. So I'm very careful with all of that, but I know and I believe in plant medicine. But I want you to take a moment to talk about the principle behind flower essences, the principle behind it.
Okay. Okay. And I want to tie that into what you just said, because I think it's so important. We have to be careful about any of the energy that we allow into our fields, into our bodies and our beings. And, part of that is just because we should be good stewards of what we consume. And we have the ability to meter that. The other part of that is, especially in the herbal world, it is largely unregulated. And I choose to look at that as a blessing. That means, though, that as individuals, we get to and really are charged with connecting in with who we work with, who makes the products we use, who offers the energy services that we receive, and really allow our bodies and our hearts to guide us to what's going to work best for us. Understanding that we can't, this whole world of energy it can't really be regulated with integrity, because everyone is different. Everyone needs something different. And so to say that what I have will be exactly what everyone needs for any kind of certain instance or whatever is irresponsible. And really limiting. So where we kind of take that, right, is that we start to understand that I am an individual, you are an individual. There is something about you that makes you you, something about me that makes me me. And what I believe underlies all of that is energy. And, so when you ask me about the flower essences, what makes them special, that energy, that underlying energy. And when we look specifically at flower essences, what we're looking at is the flower or the plant itself. And it has its own life force energy. There is a difference between a rose and a tulip and a marigold flower. And that difference is absolutely, chemical and constituents, and we can look at the biology and all of that, but we can also understand that there's a different vibration to each plant. And so a flower essence is going to capture the vibration of that plant. And then the way that we'll work with a flower essence is to typically, for people who don't know, a flower essence is usually a liquid, and it comes with a dropper top. So we would take like 5 to 7 drops of a flower essence, maybe 5 times a day. And what we're doing is we're inviting that vibration into our energy body to work with bringing the cells in our body into resonance with that vibration of the flower essence. So in a sense, we can look at it like, for instance, when you're tuning a musical instrument and you have a guide that helps you look for that perfect note or that perfect sound, and then you can bring your musical instrument to meet that and match that. Well, we can do that with our energy as well. And I can get really deep into this, and some people want that and some people don't. So I have to kind of like meter what I'm saying, but essentially the water in our bodies holds different energy imprints, and what everything in our body has water in it. So this is why I can say our bodies. And then what we bring into our body has its own energy imprint. And so what we're looking to do is just be careful about what we're bringing in, and then intentionally decide, okay, this is an energy that I would like to embody, or I would like to play with how this would interact with me and my energy. So we'll combine them.
I love that. No, I loved it. I moved myself out of the frame because I knew you were in your element, and I wanted not to be distracted by me, because I'm learning in the process. And, you know, the folks that come on my channel, many are learning just like I am, but I'm grateful for the introduction. And I think what really made me understand, not only, you know, number one, the trust of you. And I believe in being connected to the person that I'm receiving that type of, you know, if I'm going to take any type of herbal medicine, I believe in being connected to the person that's assembling it, or they at least know what they're giving me, right? But I think what made me truly understand, I think what you may have been trying to explain to me in the past when I started studying alchemy or reading about alchemy, and it was just the concept, the principle is that I only need a small amount of the essence of something where I'm trying to go. And so that made it perfectly clear. And I'm like, okay, I really need to talk to her. And there are other people that I know that will resonate with your voice and the language that you use to explain it, because you just like, you come at things from a different angle than I could ever come from. But yeah, so you were in your element. So that's why I moved myself out of the frame. But I love it. Now I do remember when I first met you, and I think it's one of those things. Like, if I look back at a person that I have connected with in some way, and I feel like that connection was meant to be, I always look back to the beginning. Where did I meet them? And I remember we were at some event put on by Natural Forces Studio, and you were at a table. And out of every table in that room, I ended up in front of you, and you had a collection of what I now know are tuning forks on your table, just laid out. Now, I didn't know what a tuning fork was. I didn't know at the time, I didn't even understand the connection between the tuning fork and the actual environment we were in, like how it connected to energy medicine, how it connected to, you know, health and wellness. And so you kind of opened the door for me there, while I had been introduced to frequencies, but had never seen a tuning fork. I think even after that event, I ended up buying a singing bowl just for myself at home. But I want you to talk a little bit about, you know, you guys, I've already told her that told you all she's multifaceted. So I'm just going to ask her, and whatever she gives us today, I really need you to kind of soak it in, because you're not going to get this in a whole lot of places in a way that it's going to resonate with you the way that Jessica is saying it. But the tuning forks, the sound bowls, how did you come into that? And what is some of the principles and how you use that in the way that you show up?
Yeah. So, okay. First of all, I remember that too. And big shout out to Terry from Natural Forces. She's a teacher for both of us and a wonderful human. And I have always experienced energy in a big way. I have always been extremely moved by music and sound. I'm not a musician. I don't call myself that. I'm not technically trained in any way, but it moves me, and I know that. And so actually when I started working with Terry, she introduced me to sound as a form of carrier of vibrational medicine. And I started to be able to pinpoint, like I can put my finger on the fact that my body feels different when I am in a sound bath, right? Where I'm surrounded by someone playing different, either crystal bowls or Himalayan bowls. Or even honestly, if we're looking at it, you know, as a full picture, there are times when I have been, you know, at a concert listening to live music, and I can feel my heart just buzzing. I know that there's something special going on, and I, you know, that just that smile that gets plastered on your face, and you just vibrate higher. And so for me, I like to have a physical experience to attach to energy. And as, you know, as someone who really enjoys offering Reiki healing, I found that for myself and for others, it became more powerful for me to work with sound and vibration when I do that. And I don't believe that that's how everyone is, but it's definitely how I am. So the we've already talked about sound bowls and tuning forks and just music in general. And so it can feel like it's all over the place, but just to kind of bring that back, it is that vibration, right? And we look at different notes and we look at different resonances, and we understand that when you have harmony and when you have resonance, that beings around that can come into tune with it. And so again, I also will never forget how we met. And what I was doing was offering people an experience with a tuning fork, because it's weird. And why would you be at a Reiki gathering, with your tuning fork out? And then what was so cool was because of the way it was set up, you walked up to a table and you're just like, I either am drawn here or I'm not, but you really don't know why. And I'm not one to have like a lot of words and information spread out. So you got to kind of just trust yourself and trust what's pulling you to me. And every single person who I used the tuning fork with had an experience. There wasn't one person who was like, I don't know what you're doing. I don't get it, and walked away. And for me, that's really important. I like to make sure that what I'm doing comes across, that if we're going to work together, that you're going to get something. And so again, for me, sound and vibration, it's like, okay, no brainer. But so what we were doing with the tuning forks, and every tuning fork is tuned to a specific frequency. And the tuning forks that I use are tuned to the frequency of the planets. The one that I was using is the frequency of the sun. And with that, we're looking at just big, powerful energy, right? Like opening up to your bright light. And the sun is an archetype that helps us do that. So with the tuning fork, I would activate the tuning fork and put it on the top of the head. And without a doubt, it can't not work. You will feel vibrations running throughout the bones in your body, because they are wonderful at conducting those vibrations. And there are many conjectures about what's actually happening and the science of the way that the vibrations are entering into your body. And I love them all. But we can back up enough just to say that at the very least, that vibration can calm the mind. And when the mind is calm, our heart can lead. And that, in my personal understanding, is it. That is what we're trying to accomplish. We're trying to allow the mind not to stop, not to quit, but not to lead, right? The mind is very, very powerful. And our heart is the power. Our heart is what is for us. My heart tells me what I need. My brain can tell me all kinds of different things and facts and interesting tidbits and points, and I can know what everybody else has told me and what everybody else needs, but my heart knows what I need. And so anytime I can step forward and allow my heart to just be in charge. Again, I'm not silencing the brain. It's important. I need it. But allowing my heart to be in charge, well, then I open up a whole new level of possibility to reach my highest good, to perceive my highest good, just to be present to it. And so again, with sound, that's just a really quick way to do that. We don't have to develop a skill. All we have to do is take a deep breath and be there.
That was beautiful. Did you say when the mind is silent, the heart can lead? What did you say? When the mind is still, the heart can lead? Because I was stuck right there. I was like, Jessica has showed up. She is here. When the mind is still, the heart can lead.
Mhm.
That's awesome. Because I have the computer science background. And a lot of times, in some ways, it works for me in this world, and then some ways it really works against me. Because my mind and it's one thing to know something in your mind, but when it begins to integrate with your heart, I feel like that's when it's really a practice for you. So that one snippet right there has made the entire podcast, because that was awesome. That was awesome. So, do you have a particular flower essence right now that's your favorite?
Well, every good mama is going to say, I don't have favorites. But I do. I mean, I think with flower essences, there's a season, right? There's a season for everything. And I don't necessarily think that they coordinate with the growing season. But right now, I have been working really heavily with Marigold flower essence. In fact, I'm getting ready to have a 28-day challenge in March with Marigold essence and different products that I've made with Marigold. And I guess I have to say, for people who aren't familiar with Marigold, this flower has come into my awareness and just kind of turned everything on its side. It's been incredible to really, Marigold is bringing an energy of fiery, divine feminine. And, we all have feminine and masculine in our system. And in the current society that we live in, masculine traits, that action, motion, forward movement are very important and celebrated. We're constantly taught to go, do, achieve, succeed, all the things. And I appreciate all of that. What I'm seeing, though, is that we're not really balancing the feminine aspect of holding, right? Holding space, being a vessel. Really, control is not the right word, but directing energy. Okay, so that they work together. Too much feminine, no masculine, you're still stuck. But this idea of really developing our feminine up to match the already, very powerful masculine energy that we've been taught to develop from day one, really gives us a balance and a power that, for me personally, has just been amazing. So Marigold helps us. When I say fiery, divine, feminine, if we're looking at the energy body, we're looking at the root and the sacral chakra. So we're looking at our ability to understand our worth as completely intrinsic. Then when we get that, we're moving up a little bit in the body and we're understanding our power to create, as well as our power to direct creative energy. And these are so important separately, but really they're so important together, because especially right now in the time we're in, most people are doing so much more supporting of other people than they've had to do, on their own. We're all, especially people, it's just incredible to me how when our network gets kind of shrunk, there's a lot of responsibility that gets placed on us. And a lot of people get stuck in this idea of, I got to serve everybody around me. I got to serve to, that's what I'm here to do. And it is. But from what fountain is that energy coming? And how are you protecting that energy?
Yes.
Because if I'm going to serve you, how beneficial is it going to be when what's really underlying while I'm serving is, I can't believe I have to do everything. Yes. I have this all on me. I've got to be everywhere for everybody. What do you need? What do you need? What do you need?
Yes.
Marigold has helped me understand, okay, I have one light. It is me. The only thing I control is me. The only thing I change is me. And how I show up is the very most important thing in the world. So when I am accepting Marigold's teachings and messages, I am focused on my energy. What brings me joy? How can I just be happy to be here in this moment? And just that little, it's not little, it's huge, but focusing in that one little space helps me show up for everybody around me the way that I need to. And what I also am not doing is putting my frantic, worried, overreaching energy out to everybody for them to have to deal with that. So this idea of being a really strong support, while also celebrating and cultivating my light, my worth, has just been the biggest gift that Marigold could ever give. It is something that involves a lot of unlearning, a lot of undoing of different, programming that we've been exposed to our whole lives. The idea that, especially for me as a Southern woman, that I am here to serve and that I need to be aware of, everybody around me and take care of everybody around me first. That's just been instilled. And I have a lot of really supportive people in my life and a lot of people who, it's just an underlying current that we've got to examine and call out and stop and say, okay, hold on a minute. If I do nothing else today, but connect into my heart and honor that I am here and that is important, then I have done good work. And when I do that, I pour into myself. I allow life force energy to come into my being and fill me up. I'm focused on me. I'm accepting that energy for me. And yet now I have the capacity to serve people around me with a smile on my face. I have the capacity to do for others and know that it's all going to be okay. I'm going to be able to get done what I can get done, and that's enough. I can do or not do, and that is enough. And I can also extend that grace to everyone around me.
You said a mouthful, and I'm not going to even try to reword or say it in my own words because I know it's true. Not only, in my life, me, but then also that I serve primarily at the church in ministry women. And so that on its own stands what you said. Like, we really have to re-examine how we're showing up. And that's something you've been a great help to me. I think one time you told me the Lighthouse Illustration. If you could paraphrase that for me.
Yes. So there's a quote by Anne Lamott. I don't remember it. I'm going to paraphrase, so please forgive me, Anne. But basically it says the lighthouse doesn't run around the shore trying to save every ship it sees. The lighthouse is planted firmly where it is, and it shines its light for all who can see. And applying that message, that idea to us is just saying, again, I have my light. My job is to shine it. That's enough. Those who need it or can benefit from it will find it, and probably find it easier if I stand firm and true and just work on cultivating that light rather than trying to chase everybody down, save everybody, help everybody, do all the things. Just really be in my light and make sure that I understand my truth what is right for me and what it is about me that can be helpful, can be powerful, and then just let that out.
Yes, that's a life-changing concept. Like when you truly catch it, it's a life-changing concept of just cultivating my light and letting it shine. And the folks who need it will, they'll find it. They'll find their way just from your light. That's a lot. That's a lot, and that's good. And I want you to just tell everybody how they can find you on social media, your website. How can they get your products? Where that's available at? How can they tap into Jessica?
Okay. My business is Resourced Apothecary, and you can find my website at resourcedapothecary.com. And then on Facebook and Instagram, it's at Resourced Apothecary. So I'm trying to keep it easy for everybody. And then that's really those are the best places to find me, because you can find me there from anywhere. I am in Leeds, Alabama. And so I have a studio and my apothecary where I have my products for sale and can work there. And I am getting out into the community more and more now that we're, coming into 2022. So there'll be different events and opportunities to connect in, and that'll all be listed on my website and social media.
That's awesome. So as we get ready to wrap up, is there anything else that you feel bubbling up that you want to share as kind of your parting words?
Ooh, when you can limit me to the words, that's when it's hard. No, I think the biggest thing for me to share today, especially with you and the wonderful way that you serve your community and our community and, just all of us around, is to remind everyone that it is true that there is only one way. But the one way that is true is the way that works for you. And I highly encourage everyone to take the time to really tune in to yourself. You are a powerful being, and your heart and your body will give you so much powerful and true guidance when you listen. We are so blessed to have information coming at us from all angles, experts everywhere, and still the most important truth for each and every human will be inside in your heart.